Hello, and welcome to Your Vote Counts, a public, informational, nonpartisan program designed to get the public acquainted with the candidates vying for the 2024 general election races of Kaiser City Mayor, Kaiser City Council, Marion County Sheriff, Senate District 9, and House District 17 through 23, and Congressional Districts 5 and 6. These interviews come to you through the producers at Capital Community Media, with collaboration on questions and moderators from the American Association of University Women and the League of Women Voters, Marion and Polk counties. All candidates for these races were invited, and 65% chose to participate. Candidates did not receive the questions prepared by the League of Women Voters ahead of time. Candidates were invited to prepare a 2-minute opening addressing their background and qualifications for the office and 2-minute closing remarks. So let's get started. I am Mickey Varney from the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk counties, and I would like to introduce candidate Muñoz, who is running for House District 22. Candidate Muñoz, welcome. And
Thank
we
you.
look forward to your opening remarks. You have 2
Thank
minutes.
you so much for having me. My name is Leslie Muñoz, and I'm running to be state representative in House District 22, which is Woodburn, Jervis, North Salem. I come from a really special family. Both of my grandfathers, both my maternal and my paternal grandfathers, came to the United States. They were recruited through the Bracero program to help our agricultural system. Then they immigrated my parents here as children. My parents met and fell in love, and I saw them working hard every day. And they were just full of hope and wanted some better opportunities for us. And we found those opportunities through education. And so I'm super excited to be here. And I'm super excited about what my family has done. For the last 12 years, I've represented teachers through their labor unions, making sure that they have good wages, benefits, working conditions. I'm a working mother of four. And so I have dealt with a lot of the struggles, that the average Oregonian is dealing with. And I look forward to taking the skills that I've learned over the last 12 years about labor and all of the stories that I've gathered from workers across the state to make sure that, we have good legislation at the Capitol, to make sure that we put bills forward for affordable housing, which is something that I struggled with. For good job protections, which is something that I fight for every day, and to make sure that my children have the opportunities that I was privileged to have. So I'm just really happy to be here today and to talk to you all about my campaign. Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you very much. And now we'd like to hear your views on some questions for this interview. So first of all, how would you ensure that Oregon has the resources to provide all Oregonians access to affordable, quality health care?
Yes, super important question. So, as a Latina, one of the things that I've noticed, one of my sisters worked for the Oregon Health Authority, and one of the things that we've been really trying to look at is making sure that even when we do have good health care, the access to the Latino community has been limited because of language barriers and other barriers based on information not being there. And so I would basically pair up with really smart people like the Oregon Health Authority and see what it is that I can do as a legislator to move good legislation forward, to ensure that everybody's covered. Um, I know that I've worked with the Oregon Nurses Association. I've also worked for AFSCME, and so I've seen firsthand the struggles that are present at hospitals. I've also seen the struggles of getting health care. So I would take all those stories and um, work with experts to make sure that the funding is there, so that everybody has health care.
Okay, thank you. Now, what is the role of House District 22 in helping cities and counties with policy and funding issues dealing with houselessness? What ideas do you support?
Hmm. So I've been at the doors a lot, and one of the things that I've heard is you know, we have a housing problem for sure. In my community in House District 22, we have several families living together in one place because they can't afford to have their own house, and so homelessness for my community kind of becomes invisible. So one of the things that I would like to find out is like how many people are in that situation so that we can address the issue. I've heard a lot of great ideas along the way from other folks who are doing this work. One of the things that I have noticed is that in Woodburn, specifically, they have been building a lot of houses, but they're $500,000, $600,000 houses, and so I'd like to see what the barriers are in building affordable housing. Houses that younger people can get into. I know that I bought my first house at 46 because my sister gifted me my down payment from her equity. She was selling her house. And so I started thinking about the fact that it isn't fair that I got lucky. And I don't think people should have to get lucky in order to have a place to live. I also know that rent has gone up and our families can't afford it. So I am very ready to go learn about what the barriers are to make sure that we remove some of those so that people, so that we can build affordable housing and that housing is available for everyone.
Thank you. Next question. What is the future of hydropower in Oregon?
I don't know a lot about hydropower. I've never looked into that. One of the things that I do love about running for office is that I've learned a lot because after an interview such as this, I'm going to go look up hydropower. So I can't speak to that because I've never looked into it.
Okay, okay. Well, let's kind of expand on that a little bit.
Hmm.
And here's another question about energy. Oregonians depend on reliable and affordable energy resources while meeting climate goals and supporting strong economic development. How will Oregon meet our state's growing need for electricity while addressing competing priorities between energy producers and energy distributors in urban and rural areas?
Hmm. So, climate control is really important to me because a lot of people that look like me work in agriculture. And so, we do need to have climate control in order for us to survive. Um, One of the things that I've noticed just running for office is that I have learned a lot of the issues that I'm taking to the legislature to see what we can do about them. I have not partnered with expert organizations to see what solutions or what options are available. What I do know is that at the doors, people have been mentioning, their desire to meet our goals in terms of, energy, climate control, and all of these issues that Oregon is facing. So I know that I'm going to have a busy year. I know that when I became a field representative for the union, I had a really tough first year, just soaking up, getting connected with the right relationships in order to get the information that I needed to seek out these answers, and then bringing those questions back to organizations such as yours to see if that matches the needs of Oregonians. So I know that I have a lot to learn, and I'm ready to learn, but I don't have a specific answer about how I would address that at this moment.
Okay, thank you. The next question. What elements do you support to ensure financial stability in Oregon's future?
So one of the things that has come up for me as a labor representative in the last 12 years is when I go to bargaining and we're having negotiations, a lot of the times, even when districts want to do the right thing, there's just not enough education funding. And I know that we've put some structures in place in Oregon, such as the quality education model, to make sure that schools thrive. But for some reason, we've never funded at that level. And so I know that there's a funding problem in Oregon. I haven't, been over there to see how it is that we allocate funds to things. But I'm really interested in learning more about what is the budget that we have and how we're distributing that. And then also learning more about how we can expand those funds, because I know that there's a lot of work to be done, in many different areas, not only in education, but people are talking about safety, they're talking about crime. It really seems like we need more funding to address mental health protections, the housing issue. And so I'm not sure how we're going to work on it, but I know that, I've been working on campaigns from beginning to end, and I know that funding is part of those and budgeting. And so I do hope to take those skills to the legislature to see what's happening now, and then discover ways that we can, make sure that Oregon is funded appropriately because we deserve the best.
Thank you for your thoughtful answer. My next question is describe both a positive and a negative impact if there is expansion of urban growth boundaries within the state in order to make room for a major semiconductor or advanced manufacturing products.
Well, a positive, let me start with the negative. I guess one of the things that I've heard is people trying to protect, protected lands. So Um, when I think about that, I think about the rules that we're going to have to follow in order to make sure that the protections that we have in place for those lands, that, they need to remain. Um, One positive is that um, it's necessary, so we would have it. um, that's what I can say about that.
Okay, all right. The Oregon Department of Environmental Quality, the Oregon Department of Agriculture, the Oregon Water Resources Department, and the Oregon Health Authority released an 8-year nitrate reduction plan that outlines how each state agency will work to lower nitrate levels in Eastern Oregon. What does that mean for our coastal and valley areas?
I haven't looked into that, so I don't want to speak on that. I'm not sure. I would have to look into it.
Okay. All right. Well, then, lastly, here, tell me a bit about your district, House
Mhm.
District 22. What do you see happening in the areas of population growth, emergency preparedness, and what financial challenges is the district facing?
Mhm. So House District 22 is unique because we're a minority majority district. We have a large percentage of Latino population in this district. Um, can I ask you to repeat the question? I want to make sure that I answer it.
Sure, sure. I was asking about three areas. One, what's happening with population growth?
Hmm.
Another one is emergency preparedness, and
Hmm.
then financial challenges that you're
Hmm.
facing.
Okay. So we're growing in a big way here in Woodburn. I know that we've expanded greatly, and I was hearing Mayor Frank Lonergan talk about how we are bigger than Tegatoloton now. So I know that there's a huge population growth. About safety preparedness, I don't know how prepared we are. I haven't really come across any information about that. And then funding that's necessary. I know that right now we're trying to get resources here in Woodburn for a community center because we don't have one. Um, so I don't know about other funding necessarily. I know that we're trying to expand our community college as well because we don't have sciences here. So students that want to go to Woodburn, the Chemeketa Woodburn campus have to drive all the way to Salem. And so those are kind of the two things that I've heard in different meetings about things that we need in Woodburn specifically, but a district wide, I don't know about that.
Are there financial challenges specific to Woodburn since that's your major area?
Well, I know one of the things that we're trying to do is and we just brought actually they just opened a homeless shelter here on Hardcastle Avenue, and I know that we need additional beds. So that's one area that we're trying to get funding for here in Woodburn. Um, we did expand the park and it looks beautiful. The Legion Park, we made a big soccer field for our kiddos, and that's been really wonderful. So I'm sure that there's other things that that we can do in Woodburn. But for now, the community center and the science building at Chemeketa would be amazing.
Well, thank you for your answers today. So now it's time to move into our final segment. It is interviews. So, candidate Muñoz, you're now invited to share your 2-minute closing comments about your goals for this office if elected, or other remarks you wish to share. Please also share your contact information so the public can reach out to you.
Well, thank you for today. Again, my name is Leslie Muñoz. I'm running for House District 22. I decided to run because, as a mother of four, education is super important to me, and I hope to expand education funding for pre-K through um, also CTE programs, any type of programs that would bring strong workspaces to kiddos, and then post high school, university. I would also love to help with the affordable housing crisis, um, lower costs for families. Um, and if you want to learn more about me, my website is lesliemunozoregon.com. So thank you very much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, candidate Muñoz, for your interview today and for sharing your thoughts on these important issues. And thank you to Capital Community Media for their extensive technology and production skills used to create this program. Thank you to the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk counties for the design and preparation for the program. And thanks to you, the public, for watching in order to become a more informed voter. For more local, state, and national voter information on candidates and ballot issues, visit vote411.org after September 30th when candidate data is posted. You have until October 15th to register to vote or make changes to your voter registration. Ballots go out on October 16th and will be accepted and counted if postmarked before or on November 5th. Elections matter. Remember to vote because your vote counts. Thank you.